Hello and welcome to the Two-Man Power Trip Wrestling. Your host, JP John Poz, for the latest POZCAST. Of course, joining me is the former WWF Head Writer, the former WCW Head Writer, former WCW World Heavyweight Champion, Mr. Vince Russo. Vince, what's going on?
What is going on, John? I hope you had a great New Year's Thanksgiving with the family.
Yes, same to you. Hopefully you had a good one. I know you're always busy. You always got so much going on. But let's go right into this Q&A that you've been loving so much.
So much better, man, than talking about these shows, bro. So much better.
So we're going to hit 1999, and we have the first question. Shawn Michaels came back to Raw 3 months after WrestleMania. Well, really, we'll start off with 98, but we'll get into 99 eventually too. But right after WrestleMania 14 to do commentary, he had a falling out with the company. So he leaves after WrestleMania 14, losing Austin, comes back a few months later, is on commentary. How did his return come about? Like, who's the one kind of, are you pushing for it? Who wants him?
Yeah, man, it was probably me, man. And I remember, I was pushing for Shawn to come back, and I swear to God, John, I remember when we finally did bring him back. I had an issue with him backstage, and I remember saying to Vince, how do you freaking deal with him, man? And I remember Vince cutting a promo on me that I was the one that convinced him to bring Shawn back. So here I convinced Vince to bring Shawn back. Shawn winds up, I think he wound up cutting a promo on me because I think he was scheduled to do something in the show and it was changed at the last minute. So I think he cut a promo on me because of that. I was hot because I was the one fighting from the comeback. So then I go to Vince because I was hot and I just had to vent. And Vince was like, "Bro, you were the one that pushed to bring him back. So I don't want to hear it."
Yeah. Yep. So what plans did you have in mind when you brought him back? Did you want him to be a wrestler? Was he going to be a commentator? I mean, eventually be a commissioner, but what was the plans bringing him back? You thought he was going to be a wrestler?
Oh yeah, no, definitely. He wasn't he wasn't done at that point. He was definitely going to come back and still be a talent on the roster, no doubt.
Did you expect him to wrestle? Because really, he didn't wrestle from WrestleMania 14 all the way again until SummerSlam 2002. So what was for WWF anyway, but what was your thoughts on that? Did you really think his injury was that bad where he's going to be out for 4 years?
No, and we would have played it by ear, but at that point, he was brought back to eventually wrestle again. I didn't even realize, bro, we didn't wrestle for 4 years. That's insane.
Yeah, he did wrestle Paul Diamond, who was going by the name of Venom, in his his not promotion. I guess you could say it was a promotion, but he had his own training camp, his own training academy. So he wrestled there, and he looked kind of fine. This is 2000-ish. And he was a referee in Japan in 99, 2000. He looked fine. So kind of weird he didn't wrestle for 4 years.
Yeah, it is. It is weird, bro. It's very, very years because for a talent to lose 4 years of their career, if they're not really hurt, I mean, that's really kabuki-ish.
That Lloyd's of London thing,
Yeah, that was a big thing back then, man. Yep, absolutely.
So what did you think of him as the commissioner? How did you think Michaels was as the commish?
Yeah, it's funny, man, because I'm watching that now. I'm watching some of that stuff now. Yeah, I mean, he's great, man. Shawn's great, man. Shawn's a great performer. It doesn't matter what role you put him in. He is an absolutely great performer. And, like I said, I'm just watching, the Attitude Era now where he came back as the corporate commissioner, whatever the case may be.
Yep.
And yeah, I mean, Shawn's doing a great job. Shawn is an entertainer, man. And he could always entertain the people, man.
How did Sergeant Slaughter feel about Shawn Michaels replacing him as commissioner? Did he just feel okay with it? Was his time up? What did you kind of think about?
He didn't care. I mean, bro, if it affected his paycheck, that would be one thing. But Slaughter was still working there. That's all he cared about at the end of the day. He never had an ego like that, man. I don't remember there being one thing Slaughter didn't like that we did. I mean, he went along with the program. He never ever had an issue. You know, bro, he's old school, you know, so that's not going to affect him one way or another.
When he gets attacked on the outside of the building by the corporation, it's kind of not said, but did D-Generation X set him up? I don't know if you remember that or not. He goes to the outside. He's all bloody. He got destroyed in the outside as commissioner. I guess
Is
it's kind
that
of to write him
Sean?
off
Is
for a
that
little bit.
Sean?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so. I think that was meant to be a DX setup, I think. Yeah.
So, what was the plan for Michaels as far as coming back in ring? Like, he had his surgery. Was he supposed to like have a feud with anybody? Do you remember?
Bro, I told you, man, there was never a plan, man, John. We did not write that way. You know, I mean, we bring him back. He wasn't ready to wrestle. He does the commentary. Then he's in the role of a commissioner. We're gonna roll with that. I mean, we're gonna keep going with that until we feel it's not working anymore. So there was never a long time. There was never a long time goal like that, bro. That's just not the way I wrote.
So not necessarily going to say, okay, Michaels is coming back. I want him to fight Triple H or have a match with Triple H. We're going to set it. No,
absolutely not. Absolutely going to totally play it by ear. See how his attitude is. You know, see how he's healthy. See how he's feeling. See if the commissioner thing is working. So absolutely not. Just kind of going week to week.
Why did you have Paul Ellering turn heel on the Legion of Doom and manage the Disciples of the Apocalypse?
Just to mix things up, man. Just to swerve, you know, just another swerve. You know me, man. I liked writing swerves, and there's a reason behind that, because when a swerve is involved, now you just open up a whole new avenue of creative. Now you could do so many more things you didn't have the option of doing before. So that was basically the idea behind it.
Do you think LOD really needs Ellering, or ever really needed a manager when you really look at it?
You know, bro, as over as they were, Ellering was always very good. He was always very good. I mean, bro, that's like asking, did the Four Horsemen need J.J. Dillon? You know, of course they didn't. But, you know, JJ added to them. Paul Ellering added to them. So I think he definitely added to the team. I mean, I will go on record and I still don't understand, like, what the rib was behind this. You know, that puppet Rocco. Remember when they went through that?
Oh, God, yeah. Holy crap.
I still don't know what was behind that. But when it was just Ellering, I mean, he definitely added to those guys.
Man, I feel like DOA needed him. You know what I mean? Like,
they could
need somebody like that.
No doubt. No doubt about it, bro. No doubt.
So before his knee injury, Triple H was scheduled to defend the Intercontinental Championship against Mark Henry at Breakdown pay-per-view 98. I assume he was supposed to beat Mark Henry. Would you even remember, like, if Triple H is fighting for the IC title against Henry, Triple H probably going over, or no? Or you wouldn't even remember?
I would probably think so, bro. Just seeing where they were both positioned at that time, I would probably think so. Because, man, Mark Henry, man, was really getting over with that sexual chocolate stuff. So, like, he was really on a roll, but he was never going to be like the top guy. You know, Triple H eventually was going to become that guy. So, yeah, bro, I'd say the focus was definitely on Triple H.
What would you have done with Southern Justice if Henry Godwin did not break his neck?
Well, they were with Jeff. Were they with Jeff at the point when he broke? Yeah,
yeah, I believe so. Yeah.
Yeah, we would have continued to do that, bro. That was kind of over. I mean, those guys in suits, I mean, looked really good. You know, putting them with Jeff. Jeff always got good heat. I thought that gimmick was a lot better and a lot cleaner. You know, the Godwins was, you know, again, man, something before the Attitude Era. You know, when they were having a lot of those ridiculous characters, and those two guys were the real deal. especially what was Canterbury, especially Mark, bro. Like that dude, I would put him up there with like a Blackman and a like he was the real dude. So yeah, we just would have kept going down that road with those guys.
Yeah, Southern Justice was a way better gimmick than the Godwins. The Godwins fit more in like 1985-ish.
I agree 1,000%. Yep.
With Al Snow, Bob Holly, and Two Cold Scorpio, what was the thought process behind the Job Squad, the JOB?
Yeah, well, bro, I think they were doing the Job Squad at ECW. I think I'm not even really sure. But again, bro, it's like with me, I'm trying to find everybody a role on TV. That's what I'm trying to do. I don't want to have anybody on the shelf. I want to keep everybody happy. I want to keep everybody on the show. So that was just a way to take a couple of guys that were underutilized, in Scorpio and Bob Holly, and just get them back on the show in a different role. I always believed in that, man. Back then, bro, we weren't sitting people at home. If your name was on that roster, one way or another, man, you were going to be put into play.
Why did you put the Women's Championship on Jacqueline Moore before Sable?
Because Sable was probably training. She was probably, because Sable did not know how to wrestle at all. Sable never planned on being a wrestler. I was the one that asked her. So just to probably give her some time to, get together with Mark and work out and stuff and, train before, TVs and stuff like that, just to give her a little seasoning.
If it wasn't for Deadly Games tournament storyline for Survivor Series 98, who would you have won the vacant WWF Championship at Judgment Day 98? The Undertaker or Kane?
Bro, you're going to have to fill me in a little bit more, John. Give me a little bit more backstory.
So, they were screwing Austin over for the title. Undertaker and Kane both pinned Austin. So Vince goes, I'm taking the belt. So he takes the belt, gives that weird middle finger thing, and steals the belt from Austin. So the next month, Undertaker versus Kane for the title. Austin is the referee. Austin knocks both of them out, counts them 1, 2, 3, and says nobody's the winner. So then you have Deadly Game, the tournament for the vacant world title. The Rock ends up winning it. So the question here was, if you don't do that, who would you rather, I guess, give the title to, Undertaker or Kane, as far as being the world champion?
But there was no if doing that. Like, that was the plan. You know what I mean?
Tournament.
Oh yeah, absolutely. That was definitely the plan. I mean, if we wanted to put it on either Undertaker or Kane, we would have done that. But that was definitely the plan, to have Rock win that tournament.
In the storyline, this is an interesting question too. Kane or Undertaker, who burnt down the family home? Who really did it in storyline? I know they said Undertaker, right? But who really burnt down the family home?
I think it was Taker, bro. But I think it was an accident. I think it was an accident when they were kids. So I mean, it was Taker, but he didn't do anything malicious. Obviously, once Paul Bearer gets in the head of Kane. He convinces Kane that it was all by design and this, that, and the other thing. So it was Taker, but it was definitely an accident.
Owen Hart came down as Blue Blazer from the rafters on a harness during Survivor Series 1998, the pre-show. He got beat up by Steve Blackman. How did he feel about doing the stunt when you pitched it to him, just as far as doing that harness stunt?
Never an issue, bro. Never an issue. I'm just talking about with me. I don't know if he said something to anybody else, but that was never, ever a discussion when we did it at all. Because was that the time it got stuck and kind of Blackman beat him like a piñata? Yeah. Nah, nothing. Bro, you got to understand, like, stuff like that. Bro, I'm only going to fight for stuff if it's really, really important for the show. Stuff like that's not important. It's just like garnish. You know what I mean? So whether or not he comes down with the harness is not going to affect the show one way or another. Just like, I always talk about, we wanted Owen to have a crush on Deborah. and he didn't feel comfortable with that, so we didn't do it because it wasn't a major storyline. I mean, when it was just, when it was just a story, but it wasn't pertinent to the whole entire show, there was no issues in changing anything, and that definitely was not important to the show.
Why did you have The Rock turn heel and join the corporation instead of keeping him babyface? He could have been more popular than Stone Cold Steve Austin, by the way. Not my quote. That was from your boy Larry. Why was there a tournament for Survivor Series 1998 instead of team elimination matches? So I guess the double question there. How come Rock heel turn?
Just again, another swerve, bro. Just another swerve, man. Bro, swerves are designed to keep people off their feet. I mean, that's why you never hear the term today anymore when it's associated with wrestling. You never hear must-see TV. It's not must-see TV, bro, because you know everything they're going to do. So it's not must-see TV. Once you start twisting and turning and swerving, and they did not see that coming, now it becomes must-see TV. So that's why, and obviously that is the reason, why we set up the match the way that we did.
And to me, to be honest, Austin definitely more popular than The Rock. I mean, there's no doubt about it. But he needed that guy to be his equal to wrestle, to feud with. Like, he desperately needed that.
Absolutely, yes.
Why tournament instead of elimination matches?
God, bro, I don't know. I don't know. I don't remember.
It seemed like traditional Survivor Series matches. I love them, but it seemed like they didn't draw as well if there wasn't like they started putting title matches on the shows and stuff. Like, remember 87, 88, 89, 90, it was all traditional matches, but maybe they felt like it wasn't drawing as well.
Yeah, maybe because I got to tell you, man, I like the elimination matches. I mean, I really do because, you get the baby face outnumbered 3-1. I mean, you can really get somebody over. So I prefer elimination matches. I don't know why we did it, though, to be honest.
What did you think of Rock as the WWF champion after he won the title in Survivor Series?
I mean, he was great. I mean, I remember, bro, I remember that Monday night when Vince was, bro, how all the time it happened a million times. If a baby face turned heel, then everything would change about him. Remember that, bro? Vince used to do that all the time. Bro, I was sitting in that office when Vince tried to do that with Rock. And Rock was just like, I wouldn't say that. I wouldn't do that. I wouldn't say that. And like, he just kept looking at me. And, Vince wanted him to go straight heel and, just kind of lose his character. But credit to The Rock, he kind of worked Vince into doing it his own way, the way that he felt it should have went and the way that he was comfortable with. And it wound up working.
Oh, big time. Yeah. Oh, my God.
Yeah.
One of the best. And him versus Austin, obviously, that feud is amazing.
Yeah.
So what did you have planned for the Insane Clown Posse if they didn't quit the WWF?
There was nothing, bro, because they were so unpredictable. Like, there was no counting on them. We didn't plan that they were going to be there for 6 months or a year. It was great when we had them. They were great. They were entertaining. They were a lot of fun. But yeah, man, we're not gonna put stock in any kind of long-term plan with those guys.
At the end of '98, what did you think of the WWF product as a whole?
Oh, definitely. Now we were away from everything they were doing, the hoppers and the goons and the who's and the what's and the where's. And definitely we were starting to feel more of a realistic, believable product. Definitely on the right track.
Was Vince McMahon the only choice to win the 1999 Royal Rumble, or did you consider Steve Austin winning it for the third time?
No, it was definitely Vince, just for storyline purposes.
Obviously, that's a great swerve right there because you think Austin's going to win. There's no doubt. He's left alone with Vince. If Vince gets the win,
Yep.
now everything is shaken up. Like, what the hell? Now I need to
Yeah.
watch Raw.
And
What
I
the hell's
love
going
that.
on next?
It's great for the writers. It's great for the fans, bro. That's why I did it all the time, man. And that's why, like, so many things, I just watched the shows today, and oh my god, bro, you know a mile away what's going to happen on these shows.
So we know that Steve Austin fought Vince McMahon at St. Valentine's Day Massacre in February of '99. But was that ever considered a match for WrestleMania 15? Considering that was like the biggest draw, the biggest feud.
I don't think so, bro. I don't think so. That was Vince's first match too, right?
Technically, kind of, because he was in Royal Rumble and he had
Yeah.
that match in April of '98 with one hand tied behind your back.
Yeah, I don't,
That
I don't,
match, yeah.
I don't think Vince was gonna make his first blown out match at WrestleMania. I don't think Vince was gonna do that. No.
Did you ever want to, or are you thinking Austin Rock has got to be the way to go?
Yeah, no, I mean that match with Austin right there fit. Again, bro, like I always tell you when we do these shows, bro, we wrote month to month, and that fit for that time, so that's why we booked it then.
What did you think of Vince McMahon becoming a wrestler?
I thought it was great, man. I mean, obviously he looked the part. You know what I mean? I mean, he wasn't going to go in there and be freaking Bret Hart. Bro, that was the beauty of it. Like, even when I did my stint and I had a couple of matches here and there, bro, the role I was in, I'm not supposed to know what I'm doing. It's not supposed to look good. Yep. I'm supposed to think in my mind, I can wrestle these guys, but at the end of the day, I'm not a wrestler, and I am going to wind up getting my ass kicked. And that's why it was so easy to do. I didn't have to freaking train as a wrestler because, in Vince's role here, he's not supposed to know how to wrestle. He's a big guy, so that helps him a lot, but in no way, shape, or form is he supposed to know how to wrestle.
Was it your idea or his idea for him to become a wrestler?
Yeah, Vince would never suggest that, bro. Vince never, bro. The only thing I remember Vince suggesting for the Vince McMahon character, bro, the only thing I remember that was his idea and him suggesting was when he pissed his pants with the toy gun. That was Vince's idea. But, bro, because Vince was smart, man, if you are a talent, you can't be subjective about your creative. You can't, man. You've got to have somebody else writing for you because they're going to see it subjectively. So Vince, I mean, very, very, very rarely did he really give any input. Now, John, I'm not saying when he went out there and cut a promo, I mean, that's all Vince. I didn't give Vince lines of what to say. I mean, that's all Vince. But as far as, the week to week, what Vince is doing on the show this week, he really had very little say in that.
Rock versus Mankind at St. Valentine's Day Massacre. Where'd you get the idea for the last man standing match?
Man, I know I got the empty arena from Lawler and
Funk.
Yeah, because I love that, man. Cornette showed me that, and I love that, and that's where we got that idea. Last man standing. I don't know, bro. I think it's such a great hook because you got Mick Foley in that match, and Mick Foley, like you would have to kill him to keep him down. So I think that match was really, really suited, towards him and his character.
What about that Iron Circle match? It reminds me of the fight scene from Jean-Claude Van Damme's Lionheart, where you got all the cars. Is that where you got that idea from?
No, I'd seen that, bro. Like, and I never saw that movie Lionheart, but I'd seen that. I mean, I'd seen, and I love that. I love that scene. I did that a couple of times. I remember doing that at TNA once. I think maybe Kurt might have been involved in the match. I love that, man. I think that looks so real and so gritty. But no, I didn't get that from Lionheart.
So WCW obviously infamously, Bischoff coined the phrase 83 weeks. Technically, it's actually more than 83 weeks of dominance. It's actually like 2 years worth of dominance. What was your reaction when you guys finally get ahead and start beating them in the ratings, but just like you guys become the dominant one? So what was your reaction when that happened?
Nothing changed, bro.
Really?
Nothing changed at all, man. We just, John, I've said this before, man. It's like when you have a show to write every week, you're not thinking about that, man. There's no time to think about it because the other show is already on top of you, man. And nothing changed whatsoever.
So according to Earthquake, who obviously was Golga and the Oddities, he said the Oddities were eventually fired to make room for the Big Show. Is this true or false?
Not that that's the first time I'm ever hearing that, bro. The first time I'm ever hearing that.
Wow. Okay. Yeah, he for some reason thought so, and obviously Big Show got a huge contract when he
Yeah.
joined the WWF. So
Yeah.
interesting.
Bro, I don't know now. Now again in Vince's office, because I think that I think Big Show had like a 10-year contract. I mean, I
Yep.
know he had a huge contract. Now, for Vince to sign that type of a contract, Vince may have felt he had to cut people. I mean, that's very, very, very possible, John. But when it came to, budget and dollars and cents, and okay, we're going to sign him for this, so we got to cut these people loose. I wasn't a part of those conversations, so it's possible, bro. It's very possible, but I've never heard that before until now.
So usually guys were jumping WWF to WCW, infamously Hall and Nash, and obviously made a big thing. So Big Show and Jericho jumping from WCW to WWF was huge. Was there anybody else from WCW that you wanted that jump the ship?
I wanted Disco. I mean, I thought Disco would have been great. I thought it would have been very entertaining. Do something with him and Honky. Outside of that, bro, I don't think there was anybody else we were really looking at.
Anybody from ECW?
Well, I mean, bro, I brought in the Dudleys. I brought Al back because of the head gimmick. Taz contacted me. So we wound up bringing Taz in. There really wasn't anybody else that we were really, really looking at.
Why wasn't the Big Show protected with some good booking like Andre the Giant was? How come you didn't protect him and keep him strong?
Bro, I didn't book for him very long, I don't think. When did he sign with I wasn't there.
February of 99, he made his debut, and then obviously you leave in October of 99. So yeah.
Really September. So February, March,
Yeah,
April, May,
7 months. Yeah.
September, 7
Less
months.
than 7 months. Yeah.
Well, bro, probably because I would think Rock and Austin were so hot at the time. You know what I mean? I mean, they were really, really the focus at that time. That's what I would think. I don't remember. My God, bro, I don't even remember booking him for that long. I don't like who was he feuding with when he first came in?
So he was with the corporation with Vince. So he was kind of feuding with Mankind and Austin, kind of a little bit. He had the one match with Austin, but he's kind of feuding with Mankind a little bit. Then you quickly kind of turn him babyface, and then he's feuding with guys like Kane and Undertaker and a little bit of Vince. And then he ends up eventually teaming with Undertaker.
God, I don't even. I swear, bro, that period is like a blur to me, man.
So China and Sable got into a real argument on John Gallagher's talk show. Was a match between China and Sable ever discussed?
It was never discussed. I mean, it seems like it would have made a lot of sense, but it would have probably been difficult for a couple of reasons because, they didn't like each other and got China would have had a killer. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
I don't think there would have been any way to really book that without, with protecting Sable. Yeah, I don't think so, bro, because they were such huge attractions in their own right. If we would have brought them together to have a match, somebody would have came out on the short end and it would have hurt them. So that was never really discussed.
Who would you have won, China or Sable?
Oh, China. I mean, China would have had to win, no doubt.
So Sable and Tori, you had said, was a lesbian storyline. Would you have them kiss if they were okay with it? Would you have had the storyline go further?
Well, I don't know, bro, because I don't think it was a lesbian storyline because Sable wasn't attracted to Tori. Tori was attracted to Sable. So
Right.
I looked at it, bro, as more of a stalker. It was more of a stalker type. That was a storyline. I mean, yeah, bro, the two hot women, that helps. But the storyline really was that Sable had a female stalker. That was a storyline.
What was the thought process behind putting the European Championship on Shane McMahon?
Just again, man, just McMahon's were great freaking heels. They were just great heels, and now you got huge baby faces over with Vince McMahon. Now you could do the same thing with Shane McMahon, and it's believable. I mean, it's believable. We've all seen Shane in the ring. It's believable that he could hold his own. So again, man, just to use his heat to get more baby faces over.
Why did you retire the European Championship only to bring it back 3 months later with Midian? Do you remember that?
I don't. How did we get rid of it, and when did we bring it back?
Damn, I don't remember how you got rid of it. It just kind of like got retired, and then Midian all of a sudden brought it back. I'm trying to remember the lineage of it.
Did he bring it back on his own? Like I don't remember that at all, John. I don't.
Damn, I'm trying to remember it too because I know that at one point you kind of combined the titles, and then Mark Henry got given the title. Remember, Jeff was both champs, Intercontinental Champion, Euro. Then he gave it away.
I would love to know. I would love to know how it came back into play. I don't remember at all.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of what happened. I actually don't remember. So I believe Shane McMahon retired it. I think that's what happened. Yes, he retired the title April 4th, and he said he was retiring as champion. That's what happened.
And
so
then
Shane,
how did it get on Midian? Do we know?
he awarded Midian the title, and after Midian found it in his travel bag about 3 months later.
Oh,
Like,
okay.
almost 3 months later. Yeah.
Yeah. Just to give Midian something. I mean, Midian was never really going to be a big time player, so I guess just to give him a little something.
Do you think it's bad of the title? Like, oh, I retired it. Like he's like, some rich punk. Like, I'm retiring the title because I want to retire as champion.
Yeah, no, I think that's heat. I think that's heat, and I think that's perfect for the Shane character, bro. Perfect.
If something bad happened to Vince at this point, would Shane have taken over the company? Was he like next in line at this point? I know, obviously, years later he wouldn't be, but at this point,
I don't think so, bro. I think it would have been Linda. I don't think Shane would have been ready at that point. I don't think it would have been Shane. I think it would have been Linda.
did he want to take over?
Nah, bro. Shane loved what he was doing, man. He loved going out there. He loved wrestling. He loved cutting the promos. He loved hanging around the boys. I don't think that was even on Shane's mind at the time, bro. And if it was, I mean, he definitely never came across that way.
The Big Boss Man was not a big enough name opponent for the Hell in a Cell match against the Undertaker. Do you think that if he was a big enough for WrestleMania 15, do you think he was a big enough name?
Was that the match?
Hell in a Cell, WrestleMania 15, Undertaker, Big Boss Man. Yeah.
I don't. No, I don't. I'm not feeling that. No.
Why'd you book it?
I mean, probably just looking at the roster, and that was probably the best fit. I mean, I don't know who else we would have booked in that spot. I would have to look at the lineup and stuff, but probably
So nobody else in mind?
No.
Did it need to be Hell in a Cell between those two?
It didn't need to be, but it definitely helps. I mean, especially, the matches Taker had in Hell in a Cell. That's the draw. I mean, he had Mick, they had the match at that point, right? Him and Mick?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah, so you're looking at him and Mick, you're looking at him and Shawn. I mean, that's the draw putting Taker in the cell.
the visual at the end of Big Boss Man being
The
hanged
hanging,
was
yeah.
was some say disturbing image. Do you think that you went too far? It looked very realistic.
I don't know how Richie did that, bro. I swear I don't know how he did it. Um, I mean, bro, like I said, all that stuff, we always made sure it was safe. I mean, so as long as, Richie, who was like the special effects guy, as long as, he made sure it was all safe, it is just a stunt, bro. That's really all it is. It's no different than seeing something like that in a Hollywood movie, in my opinion.
How did the Big Boss Man Ray trailer feel about that? How did he feel?
He didn't have any problem with it.
So the boss man was fired, quote unquote, from the corporation before King of the Ring in 1999 and coincidentally rehired immediately after, as no member could interfere in the main event. Do you agree that it makes sense that he was most likely the person that lifted the briefcase? Remember we had talked about this when we were doing King of the Ring. Somebody lifted the briefcase so Vince and Shane would win. Was that the reasoning behind it? So you could fire him and then rehire him because technically the corporation couldn't have interfered. Was that is that it?
Bro, I don't remember at all. I hear so much talk about this, man, and I swear maybe if I go back and look at it, it'll trigger something, but I don't remember that at all, man. Not at all.
What would you have done with the blue meanie if Vince McMahon had approved of him? Was there any other big plans for the blue meanie?
I would have still continued him and Stevie. I mean, I thought him and Stevie were very, very entertaining. We did that whole thing, the Blonde Bitch Project, which those guys
Hmm.
knocked it out of the park. I was a big, big fan of Stevie Richards. I would have kept that thing going.
Don Callis had already been fired at this point, but would you have made the Jackal, or do you think that the Jackal would have been a good choice for the higher power gimmick?
Yeah, bro, he had so much heat on himself, though. Nobody liked Don Callis, bro. He had so much heat on himself, and I was a big fan of his. I thought he was great on the mic, and I was always going to bat for him. But I mean, bro, it's funny because when like somebody's got so much heat on them and there's just like nothing you can do, it kind of sucks. And like I said, man, even though I thought he was very, very, very talented, he had a lot of heat in the locker room, man. I don't think he would have, especially especially in a role like that, that would have never flew.
Why did you replace Michael Hayes with Gangrel to manage the Hardy Boys?
Again, I thought that was a force, man. I did not like Michael Hayes. I did not like Michael Hayes with the Hardy Boys. I'll tell you, man, if he was still, Michael P.S. Hayes instead of all that Doc Holliday and all that stupid shit, if he was still Michael P.S. Hayes, I may have liked it a little more. But the fact that he did Doc Hendricks and all that goofy shit, I that did not work for me.
As a rumor here, there was a rumor going around that Mankind would win the championship at SummerSlam 1999 instead of Triple H because Jesse the Body Ventura did not want to raise the hand of a heel. So basically, as we've talked about this before, Mankind, Austin, Triple H are in a triple threat at SummerSlam. Triple H was supposedly supposed to win. Austin didn't want to lose to him at this point. Who knows if that's true? You were saying you don't know if that's true. But Foley ends up pinning Austin. Was it because of Austin or was it because Jesse the Body wanted to raise the hand of a babyface?
Bro, I never heard that either. I mean, that's
Okay.
the
People
absolute
make up crazy stuff.
yeah, that's the first time. And bro, again, I look at, Jesse, bro, he was mayor at the time. Is that the reason why he didn't want to raise the hand of a yeah.
That's
But
what that's the
he's also
governor, yeah.
the governor, the governor. He's also old school, bro. I could be totally wrong. I cannot see that. And this is the first time I'm hearing that.
Ventura, he debunked it, but for some reason people had asked him and they thought it was true and he said it wasn't true. So just was curious if you
Yeah,
thought
I
if there
don't
was
think
any
so.
truth to that.
I don't think so.
So him winning had nothing to do with Austin, right? Though I know we've kind of talked about this before, but do you think Austin didn't want to lose to Triple H because Triple H wins versus Mankind the next night on Raw?
Bro, it's possible, but I would have known. You know what I mean? Like, I knew Austin didn't want to work with Jeff Jarrett. I mean, he made that absolutely clear. I would have known that. I mean, Austin would have either told me directly or Vince would have told me. That was never a discussion, bro. It was never a discussion.
Another rumor was that Shawn Michaels tried to get The Rock fired, and The Rock ended up refusing to work with him because of it. Do you know if this is true or false?
Again, man, you hear a lot of that stuff that still carries on to this day. Again, John, that's why I tell you, man, I'm not of the wrestling bubble, because that part of it was not my freaking job. That's JR, that's talent relations. If there's a problem with talent, I mean, that is not my job. That is not my wheelhouse. And I never got involved in shit like that ever. I mean, I still hear that to this day, but that never came into my world as it pertained to writing the show.
It is interesting that those two really never worked together, and supposedly Michaels wanted to happen. The Rock says no because of the way you treated me. Can you see that being the case, where Triple H and Michaels at that point not very kind to The Rock, who was kind of getting a push, and Triple H was supposed to be getting a push?
You heard that all the time. I mean, you hear it all the time, and you hear that there's still a lot of heat there, bro. I swear to God, man, my whole time at WWE. I can remember it happening 2 times, John. I can remember Austin not wanting to work with Jeff and making it perfectly clear, don't ever book me with that guy. And I remember one time I wanted Triple H to do a job to D'Lo. I don't know if it was a one-on-one match. I don't remember. And I remember Triple H said no, and it really, really, really pissed me off because of all the people that had put him over. Bro, those were the only 2 times. I remember TNA, freaking Booker T didn't want to put over Matt Morgan. Bro, like, those times are so few and far between that, like I said, man, in my entire career, those are the 3 times I remember.
Is that kind of surprising though? That it only happened that many times? Like, it seems like that would be more of the case. No,
Not
like that.
really, bro,
No?
because they're pros. I mean, they're pros. They're professionals. They're getting paid the same whether they win or lose. And not only that, bro, because quite frankly, the creative made a lot of sense. So there wasn't, well, why would I be doing a job to him? I mean, in the stories and everything we were doing, it always made sense. But bro, I'm telling you, those were the only 3 times. Goldberg didn't want a job to Steiner.
But he did.
That's it. I mean, really, that's it.
But he did. Yeah, obviously he would end up doing it. But yeah, that story, I know we talked about that before.
Yeah.
That's pretty funny. It's like, oh, is this guy legit? In real life, he'd probably kill you, even though you're huge. Yeah, he's Scott Steiner. Like, there's probably maybe one other guy in the business, in the Haku, that could deal with him. But yeah,
exactly. Yeah,
pretty crazy. If the dogs had cooperated, how do you expect the Kennel from Hell to actually play out?
Oh my! It just would have visually looked a lot better. It just would have visually looked real. It was horrible, man. Terrible.
One of the worst.
But that's on me because I swear to God, John, every time when I came up with the concept, when I booked the match, all I'm seeing in my mind is like vicious attack dogs. I never thought for 1 second, what if the dogs don't react? I never thought of that. So like, that was on me, man. I did not take that into consideration.
Did you have a favorite storyline you wrote that didn't make it on television, or a favorite storyline that you wrote that ended up getting canceled?
Never.
Really?
I would have liked to not kill the Goldust character. I mean, you know, God, we could have done so much with that character, and you know, we had to kill the character because the sponsors and advertisers, and I was not a fan of that. I was not a fan of Taker and Austin having a babyface match at SummerSlam. I got into an argument with Vince about that. God, bro, those are really the only two times I can remember.
What did you think of Hunter Hearst Helmsley when he wins the title? When Triple H finally wins the WWF title in '99, what did you think of him? Was he ready at that point?
I think so, bro. I definitely think so. And I was always a fan of Hunter, not just as a performer, but as a human being. So, yeah, I don't think we would have put the title on him if nobody felt he was ready. Even though Jim Cornette said Hunter Hearst Helmsley will never draw a dime in this business.
Wow, damn. That's I know it's one of those Ole Anderson things where remember what he said about Undertaker, you'll never draw a dime in
Did
this
he
business.
really? Yeah, that's Cornette said. Triple H would never draw a dime in the business.
He did seem, I don't know, 99 to me as a fan, it didn't seem like he was like world title material when he won it. I just wasn't buying it.
Probably though, John, because of all that blue blood shit, that was horrible. All that stuff was horrible. It really took him a while to become Triple H, King of Kings. Like that took a while. So you are probably still feeling a lot of that stench on him, which I agree with 100%.
Yeah, not I don't know, not great as far as that was concerned. But so, who was your favorite WWF champion?
Champion?
Yep.
Probably Austin, because the sky was the limit when it came to writing. We were just able to do so many things with him as champion. I would say he was.
Do you have a favorite WWF match?
God, bro, probably when I wasn't there, it was probably freaking Savage and Steamboat like everybody else.
Damn. Okay. You know what's interesting with Savage and Steamboat? I know that got a lot of play lately on the dirt sheets because people were saying that Vince McMahon, not that he didn't like that match, he said that match did exactly what it was supposed to do. Like he wouldn't give that match as much credit. He said Hogan and Andre should get all the credit because they drew the house and they drew the money. Do you like that philosophy where
Oh,
like
I agree.
everybody talks about that match, but Vince McMahon himself saying, no, you should talk about Hogan Andre because
I agree with that
1,000%.
1,000%. Everybody bought WrestleMania that year to watch that match. I don't think one person bought WrestleMania to see Savage and Steamboat, bro. I agree with that 1,000%.
Do you think that Vince just isn't like a not wrestling fan, but he's not like a work rate guy? Like, that was a great match. Like
he definitely isn't, bro. He definitely isn't. Vince is looking at every wrestling match from a psychological point of view, not the moves. He's looking at it from a psychological point of view. Is this coming across as real, or are the wrestlers doing what they would be doing at that point in time if this were real? Definitely he's not a Tony Khan guy. It never ever was, bro, ever.
Yeah, I just thought that was interesting that was brought up, that he didn't really, not that he didn't care for Savage Steamboat, but did exactly what I thought it was going to do. Like he wasn't giving it praise, he wasn't ripping it, but he's like, that's what it was supposed to do. It's supposed to be a good match.
Bro, I think Savage and Steamboat, I mean, obviously he's not here with us anymore. I think they would say the same exact thing. I think they would say the same exact thing, man.
What about pay-per-view stage design? Do you actually look at that? Do you like the pay-per-view design? Like, what's your favorite as far as like when they do the pay-per-view designs and they have the stage and all that stuff
I
set up?
swear, John, I don't even pay attention to that. I have no idea, man. I don't even pay attention to that. I've never paid attention to that. The only thing I do hate, bro, is the 10, 15-minute entrances, man. That I absolutely hate. The entrances today that go on forever, I can't stand them. but I swear, bro, there isn't one stage that stood out to me during the entire time that I was writing. Maybe, bro, if I'm right, didn't the first SmackDown stage have like the big fist or something?
Yeah, eventually, yeah.
I remember that. I remember that, but pay-per-views and stuff, it just that just didn't do anything for me.
Which wrestler do you wish had been more successful under your watch?
Man. God, bro, that's a good question. Again, bro, I'm just going to say because Goldust was cut short. I think he would have been a world champion. I thought he would have been a heel champion for a long, long, long time. And, that to me was very, very, very disappointing.
What did you think of Chris Kresge?
Who's that?
He's a writer. I don't know why that's a question here, though.
I don't.
Oh, you don't even know. Wow. I know he's a writer for the WWF. I guess you never heard of him?
I think that was the guy. I think he passed away. I think a lot of people have said that he was very Vince Russo-ish, I think. But John,
after you left.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah,
because,
yes.
Yeah.
Oh, you
John,
never worked with him. Yeah.
Yeah, I never worked with him. And John, when I went to work at WCW, I did not watch the WWE anymore. So I have no idea what like I would hear of things like the 𝐒𝐍𝐉𝐎𝐘 thing and, Mark Henry, pulling the arm out of, I mean, I heard of stuff like that. I was not watching those shows. So so many people now, they will, Vince, go back and watch the, what era was it? Attitude Era?
Oh, the ruthless aggression era?
Go back and watch Ruth. Why? I have no interest in watching
That's
that.
the era that they want you to watch? What?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Oh, my God.
People tell me that all the time. And I'm like,
wow.
Why? I've got no interest in watching that.
Wow, those people are maybe they're young or something. That era sucked.
Yeah,
honestly, you want to go back, you could waste your time, but I wouldn't.
No, I mean,
like, you can pick and choose. There's some good stuff, but man, and like they always say, Brian Gewirtz, he did a great job, blah blah. He did a great job with one guy, The Rock. The rest of the show was not that great.
Bro, that always, I swear, John, I'm not gonna lie to you. Like that always gets my goat a little bit, bro. Because, bro, listen, and again, bro, a lot of people say this was JR. And I always say, bro, it's quite possible two people could have pitched the same thing to The Rock because Dwayne Johnson, Rocky Maivia, referring to himself as The Rock is not rocket science. You know what I mean? It's like 10 people could have came up with that. Right. But I remember, bro, presenting it to him that day, right before TV, and then he went out and did it. And then, bro, the whole time I was there, like we really built The Rock, up until I left. But my God, man, you talk about a guy that gets all the freaking flowers and a job, and God knows how much money he's getting paid through that production company. Man, bro, do I wish that could have been me? Yeah, absolutely. I wish that could have been me because I think the very, very early foundation of The Rock, to me, it would have been easy to write for him once he was The Rock, but making that transition from Rocky Maivia to The Rock when he really made a name for himself, I'm like, I didn't get no job with $7, bro, whatever it is.
Honestly, I like Wirtz. He did a good job, but without The Rock, and if you just judge him on the ruthless aggression era, I think it's hilarious. These people are clueless. Like with the writing, they're like, "Oh, he's better than Russo." That era sucked. Sorry, minus Eddie, Benoit, and a few others. That era not good. If you watch it as a whole, you could pick stuff out and say this was good, this was good. JBL at one point it was really good. Like, but as a whole, week to week, it sucked.
Yeah.
I would not go back and watch that era
Nah,
at all.
I've not seen it.
Waste of
Yeah.
time.
I never saw the rise of like CM Punk. I never saw China and Eddie. I never saw any of that stuff, bro.
What did you think of the WWF product in '99 before you left?
I mean, bro, we were bro, that was part of my decision to leave as well. You know, there was the kid part, but also was like I just felt we did everything we could do. And now WCW was a great challenge. Now could we go over there and do it all over again? So when we left, man, that company was cooking on all four burners, man. We did our job, man. And like I said, I was looking for the next challenge.
What do you think about Tommy Blacha, our boy?
Yeah, you know, bro, I've become somewhat friends with Tommy. I gave him a real hard time, and I'll tell you why I gave him a hard time, bro. Because, you know, we were rolling, everything was great. Vince hires Tommy Blacha without even telling me or Ed. And I'm like,
Oh, wow.
yeah, Vince did shit like that, you know? And unfortunately, I kind of took it out on Tommy, but I've since apologized to him many, many, many times before. Bro, the dude wrote for freaking Letterman, man. He knows, Tommy knows what he's doing. He's still writing today, man.
Conan, yeah. Yep.
Yeah, Conan. I'm sorry, Conan. He's had a great, great, great career, man.
Why turn Sable heel? She was so popular. What was the end game of turning Sable heel?
When was that?
99.
How did we turn
basically, her heel? After or around WrestleMania, kind of. Basically, she became cocky. She just would rip the fans all the time. She's so good looking. You all just want to be her. It was just.
God, I can't even remember that, John. I don't even remember that, man. I don't remember.
Do you think? I mean, she was over as a heel, definitely. But do you think that was partly to do with some of the guys in the back? You know what I mean? She was getting too popular as a face.
Oh, that definitely, bro. Definitely, bro. I don't want to say who it was, but it was somebody on top who got in Vince's ear about Sable because she was taking a spot of one of the boys, and the boys didn't like it. And as soon as that person got in Vince's ear, I saw Vince immediately take Sable down a few pegs, man. Immediately.
Big name, top name, top draw.
Top name, bro. Top name. Yes.
Vince, believe it or not, this is the last question, the final question.
Larry, you got to come up with more questions, man, for next time, so we don't have to talk about stupid pay-per-views, man. Go ahead.
Oh, he said he can come up with more, so I'm relying on more. But how do you want to be remembered?
Bro, I say that all the time. I want to be remembered as a great father and a great husband. Bro, people like don't understand. This was a job, John. That's it. It was a job. It's like my job now. You know, you got a job. It was a job. And John, every job I've ever had, I can always tell you, I had to work for PC Richards and Son for a while. Okay, John, I swear to you, if anybody goes to PC Richards in Patchogue, Long Island, John, there is a plaque where Vince Russo is Salesman of the Month every single month. Every single month, my name was on that plaque. John, there was something about me and my work ethic. No matter what I've ever done work-wise, I always gave it my all because my name was on it. I don't care how people remember me when it comes to wrestling. I know I did the best job I possibly could. And that's really all I care about, bro. Whether you love me or hate me is not important to me, man. I had a job to do. Nobody outworked me. Nobody has outworked me since. And the results talk for themselves.
Well said. Well said.
Yeah.
Now let's hit the plugs.
Joe, what was the final score yesterday's game? I was sick. I only made it to like halftime.
The Packer game?
Giants.
Or Giants. Oh, they lost 27-20.
Oh, okay. At least they made a game out of it.
Yeah, kind of. They're the worst.
So what are they not? 2-10 or 2-9?
Yeah, 2-10. They were first pick in next year's draft, and they were officially eliminated from the playoffs. No one else has been eliminated yet except for them.
I swear, John, like I've always said this being in New York, you're from Jersey. Bro, there's no excuse in the world for any New York franchise to ever be that bad. You know what I mean? No. I don't care if it's the Knicks or the Rangers. Like, no New York franchise should ever be that freaking bad, bro.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Not good.
Yeah.
Let's wrap it up. Hit the plugs. You follow me on Twitter and Instagram at 2Man Power Trip. How about you, Vince?
I'm going to plug this today, John. I got a new audio show, man. It's audio show only. It's non-wrestling, and it's on Believe. It is called Vince Russo Before My Head Explodes. You can get it where you get your Apple, where you get your Spotify, where you get all your podcasts. It is absolutely free. It comes out every Tuesday and Friday, and I really hope you guys support that. Absolutely free. When My Head Explodes on Spotify, on Apple, and wherever you get all your podcasts.
I was going to say, When My Head Explodes, it's could be, I don't know, a lot of things in the world going on.
It is a lot.
Yeah.
It is a lot of things. Yes.
A lot of craziness. But thank you, Vince. Thank you, everybody out there, for listening. See you right back here next time for the podcast. Thank you, everybody. See you next week.